Welcome to Tablenauts. My name is Max.
I'm Doolin.
And today we're going to do our March recap, where we've picked 5 games each that we want to talk about with you that we've played throughout the month of March.
And it's not necessarily our favorite ones from that month. It's games that we just want to chat about.
Yeah.
And you guys can play along. We're going to give the other a chance to say whether or not we want to keep it, whether or not we want to play it again, or whether or not we want to get rid of it, or anything in between, because answers are kind of sporadic.
Yeah, it's whatever. It's whatever you want it to be. So, starting off, you probably don't have any experience with this because I've played this probably 8 times, all on Board Game Arena.
Oh, okay.
This is Living Forest, which is designed by Ludonauts, I believe is how you...
Yeah.
Or not designed, published, I mean. This is... basically, if I want to... Have you played this, heard about it at all?
I've heard about it, and I've looked some things up about it because I was actually interested in this game before it went to BGA.
Sure.
But then it went to BGA, and I was like, okay, well, I'll just wait and I'll try it there.
Yeah, it's really pretty art. Obviously, it's just on the screen. I'm sure it's even better in person, but you've got like these magical creatures. You're trying to essentially push your luck. You're drawing cards that have symbols on them, and you're trying to build up different symbols. If you get 3 darkness symbols, you're done drawing cards, and you can take 1 action.
Okay.
But if you stop before you get your 3rd darkness symbol, you get 2 actions. So obviously you want to do that, but you also want to get as high of numbers of symbols as you can.
Yeah.
Basically, with the sun, you can buy new characters, new cards to add to your deck. With the tree, you can build trees. You can build trees in your forest, and that is one of the win conditions. You can also put out fires, another win condition. You can move around a board to trigger different random events, not a win condition, but whatever. And then on the cards, you also have the flowers, which are, again, a win condition. And essentially, it's the first person at 12 points.
Okay.
If there's a tie, then it's, I think, the person who got the farthest or who has the most of certain things. I've not had a tie happen, but pretty simple game. Board Game Arena, what do you think?
This is tough because I feel like we're both in a place where we're not like as eager to buy games as we used to be.
Sure.
I think you're content with playing it on BGA, and you're going to continue to play it on BGA.
You are 97% right.
Okay.
In the sense that I kind of want it.
Okay.
But I am content to play it on BGA right now. That's what I'm going to do.
Let's be real. All of
That's true.
Every single game on this list, we kind of want.
That's true. That's fair.
Because
For the meantime, I'm 100% content playing it on Board Game Arena. I do think that, like, checking the symbols and stuff, it's one of the benefits of Board Game Arena is it just does it automatically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you're playing Seven Wonders Duel and you're like, oh, how much would I have to buy this? And then on Board Game Arena, it's like, oh, it's 2. It's 2 coins. Like, it's got it all mapped out, all sorted out for you. That I wonder if it would be a little much trying to actually manage it off of Board Game Arena.
Okay.
But I do very much enjoy this game. The one thing that stops this from being an instant, like, no, I really want this game, I find myself doing the same thing, kind of, without much different. Now, that's not to say that throughout certain games I won't go for fire tokens, or I won't go for the trees, or I won't attempt for the ancestral flowers on the cards, but like predominantly because you're able to take 2 actions as long as you stop pushing your luck, which I think is pretty key. It's very getting that 1 action is pretty rough. So you really want to stop ahead of time. But like I just find myself you can't do 2 of the same actions on a turn. So I find myself getting 1 tree and then something else that'll benefit me. And then at the end of the game, I have like 9 out of my 12 trees and 10 out of something else. And then I'm like, okay, which can I finally push over the edge and get to 12?
Yeah.
So like I don't find myself really jumping at any one strategy, just kind of going with the flow. It's a very enjoyable game. I'm just not sure it's one that like I like really want to get back to figure out the strategy. Like I'll happily just play a rematch over and over again, but there's not like a lot with it in my opinion.
And you're gonna notice in this that there are good games that I don't think have legs. That and that's okay. Like, you know, some games are cheap enough that if you play them like 5, 6, even only 2 or 3 times, like I feel like I've gotten my money's worth.
Sure.
But if that's enough for BGA and you think I'm not gonna want to play this long term, I think sticking to BGA is a good decision.
And I do think that Board Game Arena is like negative in that aspect.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, Feast for Odin, like I played that a lot. I loved it, and I think that at this point in time, like I've seen what there is without the expansion. And because of that, like, I've played it over a dozen times. If I had that game in person and didn't play it on BGA, I've probably played it 2-3 times by now.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that I'm getting to play these all that often, but I think it's almost making me think some games are worse than they truly are because I'm just rematch over and over again, playing a dozen games, and then wondering why I feel like I've exhausted everything there is to do.
Well, it sounds like you like it.
I do. I do want to play it.
I'm going to need to try it, and you're going to have to teach me.
Yeah, it's pretty easy now.
Okay, so my first game that I want to talk about is... Oh, sorry again.
Nope.
So my first game I want to talk about is by Renegade Games Studios, or is it just Renegade Games?
I don't know.
Whatever.
Both.
Okay. Dead Men Tell No Tales.
I have like nothing to go off of on
this one I bought in January, and since I have learned it, I've played it twice.
Okay.
And the most recent time was with Drew in Louisville, and I'll just go ahead and say that he really enjoyed it. This is a pandemic-esque game where like it's pick up and deliver, right? Like isn't that what it's called, right? Pick up and deliver, kind of like you're taking. It's in the same realm as like Horrified or Pandemic, where one person takes their turn, and then the way it's balanced is that after every one turn, something the game throws at you happens.
Right.
And so no matter how many players you throw in there, it's still that same balance. But in this one, you're playing pirates. There's cool little pirate miniatures, and you're running around this boat that you and your cohorts have shot down. There's treasure inside, and then there's also these hordes of like skeleton monsters that you got to go in and fight. And then once you fight them, you can get their loot. And as you're going, you're slowly like building yourself up, even with all of these extra little goodies. You're also, big part of the game is that you're running around fighting fires because the boat is exploding in different parts, and that's kind of like
Sea of Thieves.
That's kind of like the epidemic, right? In Pandemic, or the island sinking in Forbidden Island.
Like the epidemic in Pandemic.
Outbreak. That was the word I was thinking of.
Yeah, see,
when the outbreaks are happening. But there's fire that's expanding, and then there's exploding barrels that you got to keep the fire away from. And the more they explode, the less time you have to get all of the treasure and escape.
Okay.
So I've played this twice. I've explained the game.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think you like it, but it's on your call pile.
That's actually really good. That's really close. I wrote down that I want to play it one more time.
Okay.
I've not gotten to play it with Emily yet.
Sure.
And she's a fan of like Horrified and Pandemic.
Just make sure it's not something that really blows her
and
away.
she loves pirates. Like it has all the things that I think that she would like in it, and I love those kinds of games too. I just think that it overstays its welcome. It's a little long. Even at 2, it felt a little too long. I was like, we have 3 hours to play, Drew. Let's start with this game. It should only take like maybe 30 to 45 minutes. It took like an hour and a half. And I was like, I don't think that it's good enough to stay that long. Sure. But it was fun. I enjoyed it, and I just don't think that it'll stay in my collection for very long. So yeah, that's my number 1.
Okay, not bad. Not bad. You do have some experience with this one. We've played this game one time. Funnily enough, I actually talked about its predecessor in our last our February recap. And this is, I do have it here with me, Libertalia, but the Winds of Galecrest version by Stonemaier, which has taken a bit of a beating.
Yeah, Max does not treat his games poorly. This was a male thing.
This ain't on me. This ain't on me. This is their recent version. It does have some minor changes, which I kind of addressed in our last recap. We played this one time at 3-player count with Kenny. What do you think I'm going to do?
I think you're keeping this. I think I mean, from what I remember, our one play altogether was really fun. And I thought that, having played the original, this one was probably was better.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think we'll keep it.
I am keeping it, at least for now. I do really want to play the 2-player version. Because,
we have to do that.
Yeah, with something, with me and you playing, with me and Danielle playing, 2-player is pretty important to me.
That's true.
So if that falls flat and it becomes a 3+ game for me, then it teeters on, do I really need to keep it or not? And it might be something that you would want, which means that, it can stay kind of in the cumulative collection.
Not with that box. I'm just kidding.
Jeez, you're so vain. I do really like, though, I do think it is objectively better than the first version. Obviously, that's just my opinion, so
I
it
believe
is
that
totally subjective.
Now, to be fair, I've
but-
only played the first one on BGA.
and me as well.
So, like, I might have liked it more
Yeah.
had I played it in person, but, like,
I
I think
think
that
as-
there's, just talking about that difference,
Yeah.
that experience is way better in person.
I think as long as you're fine with the art, because it is divisive, we're cool with it.
I love
I think
the
we
art.
both think it looks really nice. But if you hate the art, obviously stick with the original. If you're cool with the art, I can only think of improvements. The reputation track makes improvements.
Super cool.
The fact that you can play it solo, which we don't have any experience with, and at 2 players, they've made changes. Again, no experience, but like I can't imagine they make the game worse. And the reputation track certainly makes it a lot better, in my opinion.
Yeah, for
more
sure.
engaging on what cards you play, and like you may just want to be last because you get more money that way, and money is points.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't win, but, like, I was certainly in the running because I just stayed towards the bottom for the whole game.
getting 12 coins every turn, whereas Kenny was only getting 8 and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. Yeah, it makes a big difference. But I really liked it. It's absolutely a stay. We'll just have to play it at 2 for me to kind of find out how strong of a call that is. Because it might weaken its argument, but we'll see.
I'm glad you're keeping it.
I
That's
am,
good.
very much. I do enjoy it.
All right. Next up is a game that I don't know if you've played yet or not.
Okay.
But I love this game, and I'm excited to... Oh, dang it. I talked to... well, maybe you don't know if I'm going to keep it or not. I wish I could take it all away. But this is by Elf Creek Games. I think you would have guessed that I was keeping it anyway.
Honey
It
Buzz?
is Honey Buzz.
I don't know that I would have guessed that. And maybe I would have.
Yeah.
I probably would have because
Should I
know...
talk about what the game is at
Yeah,
all?
we'll talk about it. a second.
Okay.
I'm assuming you're keeping it.
I am.
Okay,
I
go
am.
ahead. Brief
and
rundown.
This was a gift from you.
Yeah.
It's the
From Kenny.
From Kenny.
I mean,
you bought it from Kenny and gave it to me.
Yeah.
And it was it's got all the Kickstarter
it's
goodness
the
in it.
deluxified version.
Oh my gosh, this game is. I played it at 1, loved it at 1. I played it at 2 twice, loved it at 2. I'm only assuming that it's going to be fun at higher player counts. It just might drag on a little bit longer, but it is such a unique worker placement. Almost like economy. I don't know.
Sure.
Like,
I think you're right.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
It's just
having never played it.
very, very unique, and even like polyomino a little bit because
Right.
you're building out your hive, right? And as you build out your hive, you get more actions, and you can even potentially put more like spots where you can have more larva bees that will get you more workers to place out later. And it's just, it's so good. And then managing on top of that, like all of the resources that you're building, because there's like 5 different kinds of honey, right? You can use that honey to fulfill orders, which typically have like 3 different kinds of honey on them, which can get you a decent amount of points, and then also an extra action. And oftentimes they contribute to like in-game scoring stuff. Or you can just sell the honey pots outright. And often, like the way that I've won this game is by doing that early, because as you sell them, they actually become less profitable. So like at the beginning of the game, 1 jar of honey pretty much equals any of the like orders at the bottom, which you want to eventually do. But early on, go ahead and get all the points as you can and move that down, because then once the other players that you're playing with want to do that, if you've beaten them, they're not going to get as many points as you. The more you play it, the more it becomes less difficult and more of this just ginormous puzzle that's really fun to, and rewarding to go back to.
For the 3rd game on my list, this game has been out since 1999. This is Lost Cities, designed by Reiner Knizia and published by Cosmos. And fair warning, all of my plays have come on Board Game Arena, so I do not own this game.
Where Max has done a ton of his games this month.
Yeah, this year, the past 2 years.
Yeah,
it's
BJ's
been wild.
is awesome.
Have you played it?
I have not played it, but I want to. Like it's been on my wish list to buy for a while. I don't know, man. This is explain this game. Isn't it a racing game?
No.
No. Okay, what am I thinking of?
So Lost Cities is a game where like it's basically just cards.
Okay.
I think there's one board in front of you which literally should just go away that divides it into like 5 decks essentially.
Okay.
And you've got a shared board and then you've got your own piles.
Okay.
And what you have to do on your turn is play a card from your hand. You have to play a card from your hand to be able to draw another one.
Okay.
which therein lies the difficulty and the strategy. Because to play the game, you need to build runs of these certain colors.
Got it.
So like I want blue, and I want 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 if I can. I'm going to get massive points if I get the longest run.
Got it.
But you also have the same cards that I do. Well, not the same shared pool of cards. So
yeah,
I have 2, 7, 8 of blue, but you may have 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10 of blue.
Got it.
And so I may play my blue too, and then the moment you take it, I'm like, crap! Like I just gave you a card that you needed. But it's really difficult because you only have a hand of I think 6 or 7 cards.
Okay.
And you really want to do as much as humanly possible, and also at the same time not give your opponent the cards that they want, which is where it really becomes so thinky and struggle. I have in my hand cards that I want. I don't want to get rid of any of these. Maybe I have like 8, 9, 10 in 3 colors. The problem is when you open up a color, you lose points for opening it up. And then you have to gain it back by playing cards. So if I open like red or something and then don't get any throughout the game, this game sounds very difficult to explain. It's an incredibly easy game, but I'm doing a very poor job of explaining it.
I think I get it. I don't know what you want to do. I hope that you want to buy it because honestly, this sounds like a game I would enjoy. So I'm going to say you want to own it.
You're mostly correct, yeah.
Okay.
You're correct.
Okay.
I do. It's one that it's like it's the size of like a Targi box, right?
Oh
so
yeah,
it's
perfect. Oh my gosh, this is great.
Yeah, but it could be smaller. That's the problem for me.
Yeah.
Because
Is
the
it just
cards are
cards?
like tarot cards.
Oh, okay.
So if they were normal cards, it could be like a Fantasy Realms box.
Why do people
or even
do
smaller.
that?
I don't know. And also, you don't need that piece of cardboard in the middle. But I do really like this game. I've played it a lot with Kenny. We've basically had a rematch of Lost Cities and Race for the Galaxy, just permanent rotation. I really dig it. It is brutal. But it's like, it's perfect Knizia, right? Like, I mean, I've played lots of Reiner Knizia. He gives you those limited decisions, but enough that make it really meaty choices for you to make.
Like super strategy and tiny, like you said, limited decisions.
Yeah, and
perfect.
this is the one that it's just brutal. I'm looking at the cards in my hand and like nothing is going to play well. But I don't want to give them to him either.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's absolutely like gut-wrenching trying to make these decisions of what cards to play. I very much enjoy Lost Cities. I do think I want to own it. I would at least play it with Danielle and you on Board Game Arena first. I mean, because we could just play a game in 20 minutes to see if it even piques the interest. But
yeah,
I do very much enjoy it.
I'm pumped to try it now. I'm glad that you have talked about it.
After this video is over, we'll play across each other. Lost Cities real quick.
Sounds good. All right, my number 3 is a game that I am currently borrowing from a guy named Kenny in our Discord, who's also been on our channel before. And we've
talked about him like 4 times in this video, and you're like, he's in our Discord.
Hey, I was just telling him, and he has a cool Instagram that you can go check out.
Does.
Now where he's like painting minis.
We'll make sure we throw I don't know the tag off the top of my head, but throw the tag on the screen.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, he paints beautiful minis. He's better than us.
He's definitely better than
Which isn't saying a lot, but he's very good.
But it's called Flatline by, again, Renegade Game Studios.
I thought you were going to say Reiner Knizia. I was like, that's not true.
Again, by Reiner Knizia. No, this one's by Kane Klenko, actually, who we've talked about on the channel before.
We have.
And this is another real-time dice-rolling game that fits in his collection of Fuse and Pandemic Rapid Response, which we've played on here as well. And in this case, you are playing doctors in the ER who are responding to people who are really, really sick. And I think that the continuation of story, right, is that people exploded.
Got in the bomb explosion and fused, and now they're in the hospital.
Now the doctor.
Yeah.
And
the next one's going to be about like you trying to throw together flowers for the funeral in time.
It's like if you lost every single time. Like it's like the doctor's trying to fill out like work applications for a new job. But anyway, this one is you have different sets of patients, right, on your board that you're trying to help. And then on top of that, you have other people, just like in real life, who come into the ER who are going to fill up spaces around the board that if you don't help, it's going to hurt your chances of winning in the long run. And they can actually really like even speed up how many turns you have and ruin the game for you if you don't pay attention to them as well. It's unique in the sense that most of the other ones, like Pandemic Rapid Response kind of has this, but Fuse definitely doesn't, where it's just a strict 10 minutes.
Right.
Whereas in this one, you have strict minutes separated.
Okay.
And so you can make the game last a little bit longer because you have time to talk
You have downtime
strategy
to think about it, sure.
and also update some things and really think about what you're going to do in between turns. I've played this only solo twice. What do you think I'm going to do with it?
You're going to keep it and you like it better than Fuse.
For one, I'm not going to keep it.
Well, you're going to buy it and you like it better than Fuse.
So here's the thing. I know that I should have came in here with the full thought on this. I think you're right. I don't know for sure if I want to buy it. If I do,
it is bigger than Fuse,
it's
which
way
kind of
bigger
takes
than
a bit
Fuse.
off. Yeah.
It's like double the size of Fuse at least.
At least, yeah.
I think that I want to try this with my family.
Okay.
Because it's like a party-ish game kind of. But if they don't really like it, I don't think it's necessarily something that you would go out of your way to try to play.
Right.
So I might, in the long run, just choose to keep Fuse as a solo,
Sure.
fun game. This game can be played solo, and I've played it twice as solo, and it's fun, and maybe even, mechanically better than Fuse, but Fuse is just a lot faster.
Sure.
It's easier to set up.
Easier to play.
Yeah.
Right.
And
which is what you look for in a solo game, or what
Exactly.
you can look for in a solo game.
Exactly. And so,
Okay.
unless it's, something that I can get other people to really want, I don't see a point necessarily having my
Sure.
own. But I do think you're right. I do think that it's approved upon the base
systems,
idea of Fuse,
right.
and even has a better theme. It leans into the theme.
Okay.
The production is fantastic. It's just not necessarily something that it might not be what I'm looking for.
Right.
But yeah, Flatline, great game. I feel bad because Renegade Game Studios is fantastic, and there's a ton of games that I love by them. I even just backed Recklin Run, which is a solo game that they're putting out, and I really want to get Warp's Edge. There's a couple others that I really like, but the first two that I've talked about are I don't really need them.
It's okay. That's all right. No harm in that. We don't have to own every game in the world.
That's
right?
true.
Shocker. You might. I know.
When Tablenauts started, if you asked both of us, would you like to
did.
own every game in the world?
Yep.
We would have said yes.
Yeah, then I started culling, and I just can't stop. So I'm actually going to skip my number 4 and move to my number 5 because it kind of dovetails off of what you were talking about. This is For Science. This is published by Gray Fox Game, designed by Eric Royce, who's the designer. Gosh, those 2 words. The designer of Spirit Island. This is a very different game from that. In the same sense that Flatline is a real-time kind of family weight game, this is
With
also
doctors.
that. Real-time family weight game. You literally have children's building blocks, and that's how you build your cures. If you want to know more about it, there's an amazing review from No Pun Included. You can check that out. But what do you think I want to do with For Science?
So, okay, I almost mentioned it with my in partnership with the Flatline thing. The themes are so close, and while you play the game is completely different. They are real-time doctor games that are cooperative.
There's also Rush MD.
Yeah, which we've not played.
No,
either.
but it's Kingdom Rush version 2. I mean, not Kingdom Rush.
I know what you mean.
Kitchen Rush.
Kitchen Rush. Yeah. But I don't see you getting rid of this just yet. I even think that potentially this would be a really good game that later in life your daughters would really get into. So I think this could potentially have a long-term stay in Max's collection.
Okay.
But I'm interested to hear what you have to say about
I think
it.
you're pretty right. It's in an
I am
interesting
pretty,
spot.
and I am right.
Yeah, that's true. It's in an interesting spot where I could say that it's bordering on getting cold, but I don't that's just the lowest thought about it. I do think more along the lines of what you're saying is that I want to play it with family, and especially I want to get more familiar with it. We played this I think 3 times or twice at least.
Yeah.
But we were we jumped in, no prior experience. We read the rules as we were figuring it out. The rules not so great. The iconography and just general graphic design honestly hurts it quite a bit. It's not an ugly game, but it doesn't do it any favors.
I certainly hated the rulebook.
Yeah, it was not an easy learn, and we were oftentimes questioning things we were doing. We certainly played at least a couple of the rules wrong, one of which I think would make the game better and more entertaining, but also more difficult, is that when building, if they don't have a line connected, that they're not allowed to touch that color. So whether
wait, what?
Yeah, it's
at all.
As far as I'm aware.
No.
Again, still gotta watch.
There's
rules
no
video,
way you could
still
build
gotta
certain
go back
things.
through the thing. But like, I think that it's one that if you asked me right now, like if you were like, I'm gonna buy this off you right now, I'd probably be like, yeah, you can have it. But I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to hold on to it. I want to familiarize myself with it, to play it properly, and with you again, with Danielle, with my family, because it's a really fun and engaging game that combines a lot of different things that I like. You've got the tiling, you've got the real time, you've got the app-assisted music happening in the background, you've got the block building, which is just like, none of my games on my shelf have that. Like, it's incredibly unique. So I think it fills a gap that was missed. I just want to actually really learn it and play it to its full potential with the events and everything like that before I make a concrete decision on this.
I think my favorite part about it was the asymmetric like players that you can be, and like they give you new powers as you go. Like what set it above like just being good to being like teetering great and like one that I want to own was the very last person I got to be.
Oh
you could
yeah, that was
replace
awesome.
a block with any. It said specifically non-living item. So like I could take anything and replace a block with that thing, and if it fit perfectly, and in order to get the winning combo, because Kenny and I were struggling as you were building out the like polyomino thing,
right?
In order to get the winning combo, I replaced a star that we needed with my AirPods.
Yeah.
And it ended up working perfectly, and I was just like, Kenny, I'm a genius. And he confirmed it, and we were like, yes! And we sent it over to you, and we won the game with like a minute to go or whatever, and it was cool. It was fun.
I really think that it's not a serious game, but it gives you that like intensity because they're being timed. But then at the same time, you've got the coffee please, where you just yell coffee please and you get like an extra card, or that guy. And I think the events lead even more into the silliness.
Oh yeah.
I've not read many of the
Hold your
cards.
breath while you're building.
Yeah, like things like that. Like they really just tell you to do wacky and wild things that make this like just a party game, but one that's like meaty enough and fun and engaging, exciting enough and different. I think is ultimately the key thing that I'm gonna have to keep touching on throughout discussing it. I've never played anything like it.
Yeah.
It's really a good. time.
Cool.
But yeah, that's my number 4. What you got for us?
My number 4. Okay. This next one is a game that you sold me, but you haven't played. And this is a solo game. So it's the first one that I'm talking about. This completely solo game. It is called The Ratcatcher.
I thought you were going to talk about Under Falling Skies.
By Platypus Industries. You didn't sell me Under Falling Skies.
I gave it to you.
Did you give it to me? I thought I was just borrowing it.
No, that was that was part of your birthday gift. What else did I give you for your birthday?
I forget what
I got you 2 things. It was that and something else. What else did I give you?
Now I feel bad.
Me too. I gave you Ratcatcher.
Oh, you gave me.
I gave you Under Falling
a Star
Skies
Wars version of Airland and Sea.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Super cool. Yeah. No, I have that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I knew
but
that
Under
was
Falling Skies is also.
Okay, cool. I haven't played it yet. I was gonna play it and then give it back to you.
But today we're talking about Ratcatcher.
Anyway, we're talking about Ratcatcher by a little company called
Australian company, I think.
Platypus Industries.
Games? Sure.
And this game is, man, it's. I don't want to call it a pick up and deliver like pandemic-ish game, but you are managing these rats that are on the board, and you're doing so in a way that allows you to collect cheese, that allows you to level up your character. But it's like essentially a race, wheel, right? Kind of. You're collecting. It's the first group to collect 10 cheese, and so the enemies can collect cheese. They're like literally swarming cheese on the boards, and you're trying to keep them from doing that so that you can collect that same cheese. The cheese that they collect levels up this boss rat. And after they collect a certain number of cheese, the boss rat spawns, and it's also trying to kill you.
Yeah. I love the theme.
Oh, yeah.
It's like this grim, dark Ratcatcher.
And the art is super neat.
Yes.
And super pretty, even though it's only like black and white with some extra little colors thrown in.
Think like, if you've never seen Ratcatcher, just look it up, but think like Spires in Kingdom Death kind of vibe.
Or like Gloom, I think, is another board game that's similar in nature in the art. But yeah, it's essentially this these two, which it's only one person, but two factions vying off, right? So like you have traps that you're throwing down, collecting rats, and the more rats you collect, the more you can do. And then at the end of the day, it's a race, or whoever dies first. So you could, once the boss monster spawns, try to just beef yourself up with the cheese you have
to just kill him,
to kill it,
right?
Or some of the like boss monsters, most of them actually, will chase you around because they're just super powerful, and if they kill you, you lose. So what do you think?
I don't have the slightest idea. I don't have the faintest clue.
Oh, should I tell you how many times I've played it?
Yeah.
That would actually probably help you. I've been playing this since December. I've played it 8 times.
I mean, that's a significant amount. That's a good amount of plays. I know we've talked about it months ago, like 2 months ago, and you were like, yeah, I really like it, Max. You should give it a try. But obviously 2 months ago, opinions change. I'm not certain where you stand, and you've tried some other solo-only games since then. I'm going to say that you do want to keep it. I don't know, you'll have to tell me how much you like it, but I think you want to keep it.
You are exactly right. This is a must keep.
Oh, wow.
This is Set of Watch is number 1 by far. But it and Final Girl,
like teetering back and forth on 2 and 3,
battling for 2 and 3. It is incredible.
That's awesome.
And what comes in the base box is just so much. There's a bunch of the enemy rats, right, that you can throw in there to change up the game every single time. But then every single one of the Ratcatchers themselves has a different board with the inlays and everything that all have...
production is outstanding,
amazing.
By the way. Yeah.
And all have unique ways to level them up, right? So, like, all of them have different base abilities, but then their level up systems are all different.
The more you talk about it, the more it kind of seems similar to Final Girl in a lot of ways.
Kind of,
I'm not sure how it is.
But Final Girl, you need all of the boxes, whereas this one, all of it comes in one box.
That's true.
And then on top of that, there are these minion rats, right? So like these are mini bosses that spawn out, and the amount that comes in the game is just baffling to me. They all have their own little token, and I've not even seen, in 8 plays, I've not even seen half of them. It's just an incredible amount of stuff that comes in one box.
To give you some perspective, I believe the core box of Ratcatcher is about $40, or the box of Ratcatchers is $40, and to get one of the episodes of Final Girl is $40, because you have to have the $20 core and the $20 episode. So
and while I think I'm obviously
we're not talking down on Final Girl, just trying to give you some perspective.
Like, I'm gonna be collecting those over time, and I've already backed season 2 and sent in all of that stuff. But Ratcatcher is just this I'm amazed that this isn't talked about more. Like, the major complaint of this game is that it might be too much to manage.
Okay.
Like, as you go out and as you build out the board, the amount of rats and swarms that can be on the board is a lot. But I actually like that. It makes me stressed out. Like, the amount of stress as the game amps up is just incredible. And I've loved every play. And anytime I lose this, I immediately jump back in. I'm like, I gotta play again. I gotta win.
This is a discussion for another day. I want to have another talk about stress and board games, because I think it's very curious how you love some amounts of stress, and then with things like Bullet, you're like, no, dude, that was way too stressful. Like,
it's the time thing, 1000%. I love stress if I can sit back and
puzzle it out.
What am I gonna do next that's gonna help me get out of this situation?
We don't even need another video. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
good describing. Good job. I have like several options that I could talk about for my 5th and final one.
It's final one.
I will discuss, because you can talk about it with me. Actually, both the ones that I really want to talk about, you could. Actually, all of them that...
All 3 of mine, you can talk about.
We can talk about them all. Just so I'm just going to tell you what my other options were.
Okay.
Long Shot the Dice Game, Res Arcana, and Patchwork were the 3 that I was debating about mentioning. But
don't talk about Long Shot, because I really think, because it's released this year, we got to do a whole video on it for you guys, because I love that game.
I very much enjoyed it. I want to talk about Whale Riders, the second Reiner Knizia game.
That was on my list, so that's good, so I can cross that one off.
Oh, there you go.
We can talk about it.
This is by Grail Games. This is
another Reiner Knizia game.
Yeah. Second one on the list. This is a difficult game to get a hold of. It just fulfilled this year. It was Kickstartered. And I don't know if there was a licensing issue or a publication issue or something, but like it's hard to find. I was fortunate enough to grab a copy myself for a good price. It's not impossible to get a hold of. It's not super rare, but it's not being like sold retail anywhere anymore. You basically have to buy it secondhand. Just like many Reiner Knizia games, this is very small amount of choices, but high impact of the decisions you make.
Absolutely.
And this is no different. This is a family weight game, absolutely.
For
it's
sure.
not a heavy game. It's not a deep strategy game. It's a race from one end to another and back, and all the while you are trying to collect ingredients and fulfill orders. So I know, Doolin, you're probably going to talk about this when we discuss it, but you kind of mentioned that it's similar to Ticket to Ride in a sense that you're drawing cards like recipes or routes or orders that you're basically trying to get the stuff for and fulfill. Yeah. So what do you think? I think you know the answer about this game, but tell me anyways, and then we'll get to talking about it.
And to speak on like how I feel about it too, I think that you're gonna keep this. It's a game that we both like, and it worked at 3 and it worked at 4. And I think that you're gonna try it with family, and but ultimately you've already found out that I like it, Danielle clearly liked it, and like the people around you like it, so it's gonna be at least able to stay currently.
It's 100% a keep, just like you said. I've played it. Everybody seems to enjoy it. Danielle even said, she was like, "Oh yeah, I really liked that when it was really fast." Like she dug it quite a bit. I think that it plays 2 to 6. I've not played it at 2. Can't imagine it would be that fun. 3 was still pretty fun. I was surprised at how well it was, how good it was at 3. But I think it's probably going to be best in that 4+ range if you can get it. I know a lot of people that have read stuff about it say it's amazing at 6. And I can see that because the decisions are so quick. The turns are lightning fast.
When are we going to try it with 6 people?
Oh, maybe we'll have to. Maybe next week.
Maybe we'll have to break it out when Jeff and Jamie come to town.
That's right. So yeah, it's absolute keep for me. I love it. Basically, every turn you have 5 different actions you can take. You can move 1 spot.
Is it really 5?
Yeah, it doesn't even seem like 5.
No,
right?
it feels like 3 maybe.
You can move 1 spot. You can discard any orders in your hand.
Yeah.
You can fulfill any amount of orders in your hand.
Okay.
You can buy an ingredient, or you can get a coin.
Oh, okay, you can get a coin. I always forget about that one.
Yeah, there's some random, like, get a coin, whoop-de-doo, but it actually can come in clutch several times.
Sometimes you actually have to in order to keep playing.
Yeah.
you didn't plan out things.
Oh, yeah, you absolutely need to. But I just love it. Like, the turns are lightning. Like I said, like, it gets to me, and I'm like, moving, buying, you're next. Like, you know exactly. By the time it gets back around to you, the board state changes, sure, but not usually enough, like, between the person ahead of you and the person next, for it to really throw a wrench in your plans.
Yeah.
And even still, I just be like, oh, that ingredient's gone. There's 3 storm tiles out. I'm gonna move. Like it's not hard to think about what you're doing, and it just moves so fast. But yet at the same time, like I still have a good time. It's not a deep strategy game, but like I have a fun time being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna try and fulfill this order. Oh, I don't like these orders. Let me discard them. I think it's great.
I'm with you. I think that it's to talk about something else that we haven't mentioned yet. The art is incredible.
It is. Vincent Dutrait, beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful art. I absolutely love it. Production in and of itself is pretty good.
It's even unique. I mean, like the fact that you have little whales that are have little sails on them. It's like really cool. Yeah.
I wish that really cute. I wish the tile bag was 10 to 20% larger. There's so many tiles in the game that when I go to shuffle it, like I have to dig my hand in there and move them around, and it's so full that it just doesn't want to shuffle. So like it is one of those things that I wish the bag were slightly bigger so I could give it a good shuffle.
Can we talk about how much better? Like I would buy my own copy for however much it would cost if I could get
like plastic wooden or wooden. Yeah, that'd be beautiful.
Oh my gosh!
But there's a lot of tiles, so it doesn't surprise me. But yeah, I mean they could. It would be great, for sure. It would be great.
All right. Good choice for number 5. I had it on my list. I might have talked about it, but so this one...
Well, you still did.
I have a choice between 2 that we've both played.
Tell me.
One of them we've played this month, but I might wait because the other one I've played this month, but we've played it a while ago. Okay. We've never talked about it on the channel.
Well, tell me what they both are.
So the first one was Res Arcana, which is a game that we played with Tia and Duke.
Yep.
And it was... pretty good experience. I'm gonna wait on that one.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about the other one, which is a game called Summer Camp by Buffalo Games.
Oh, okay.
This is a game that I own. It came out last year. I've played it probably 5 times since I got it.
Twice.
Yeah, and I actually got it for pretty dang cheap. I think I got it for $15.
Yeah, it's not an expensive game. It's like a Barnes & Noble type ordeal, $25, whatever.
Yeah, and this is a deck building summer camp, which I know that's the name of the game, but like you're kind of at a summer camp, like, right? So like there's different badges that you can win for doing different things, like cooking or swimming or playing beach volleyball or something like that. There's like a million different things that you can do, and at the beginning of the game, you're choosing 4 from this list of like I think 10 in the base game. Types of merit badges that you can go for, and
cooking, hunting, athletics, water sports,
and
whatever.
then everybody gets their like their base
starting
deck,
cards,
right?
Yeah.
And then the way I think this game is unique, though, is that you're not like battling like a typical deck builder. You're racing, and so like there's this board that reminds me a little bit of a Gone Clever kind of, where as you go, you'll make bonuses, the other things boost up as well. But the whole point of your ability to go across these tracks is based on what cards you buy in order to help you boost your abilities in cooking, swimming, whatever it is you chose. And then your goal is to be good at all of them so you can push your little workers all the way across the board before the other person, and whoever gets there first gets a certain amount of points. Then whoever comes in second gets a certain amount of points. I've only played this, unfortunately, at 2.
Oh, really?
Where I really think, and it's only 2 to 4.
Yeah, I've played it 2 and 3. My 2 plays.
And unfortunately, with my group, with my family, like we're typically 6, and so a game that is only 2 and 4, it's a little harder to table. Yeah, exactly. But
I just tapped Whale Riders for you not watching from third person view.
At 2 though, it is good, and I've enjoyed it with you. I enjoyed it with Emily. What do you think I'm gonna do with summer camp?
That's a tough one, because I do think it's a very good game. I think it is one that you don't mind keeping, but I don't think you have much of a desire, like an intense desire to hold on to it. Like if you found an opportunity to sell it, I don't think you'd care. I don't know that you're going out of your way to sell it, but like it's not. So, you're not attached to it.
You are half right. Okay. I am not attached to it, and I'm actually calling this game.
That doesn't surprise me.
And this is one of those cases where for $15, I feel like I've gotten my money's worth. And this is a game that like I actually kind of probably just gift somebody.
Yeah, it's a great. It really is a great starter deck builder game.
Like, for sure. And it's approachable, like in theme. Like if you're not a person that likes to battle each other, like the race could be exactly what you need. But in terms of deck builders, and even knowing my wife's taste, I think that Shards of Infinity is really all I need to own right now. I'm not a big deck building, like, own them all kind of guy. And having Star Realms and Shards of Infinity, I feel like is enough for right now. And then on top of that, I would love to get back into Clank, and that is sort of that racing
so long since I played it.
Deck building experience that I would maybe want to play instead.
I think Clank is a better game. It's just it's
certainly harder.
It's just a little more difficult. And I don't think it's a heavy game, but it was very easy to introduce summer camp to my parents. They had a good time with it. They both liked it. I think it did a good job introducing them to what a deck builder may be. In comparing this to the Quest for El Dorado, I think the Quest for El Dorado is probably the better game.
Is it a deck building game?
It is a deck building race game.
Okay, wow, cool.
So it's very much Reiner Knizia. I think Quest for El Dorado is probably the better game. I do think that Summer Camp, because Quest for El Dorado, the way that the maps work, you can get really blocky. Like you can't go past someone if they're ahead of you. Like if there's one square and that's the only square you can get through and someone's ahead of you, like so it can get very mean and more competitive in that, where Summer Camp's just a more lighter, fair experience. For sure. And I really like that you can add in the different deck boxes. So like this game I can play cooking and water sports, and the next game I can play like just normal sports with dodgeball, which a dodgeball kind of allowed me to interact more with my opponent, because when I had that, like I could move forward if I landed on a space with him. It just gave me more interactivity, which was nice. I do think it's a great game. I'm with you. I don't think I need to own it.
It was shocking, like, because when I first got it, I was just like, it's a 2021 game that I want to add to my repertoire when I'm reviewing 2021 games. But I was like, this is actually really good. Like, I don't know.
When you wanted to play it, I was like, Sure, like when it's light, let's get it over with.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be way too light for me to even enjoy. And though it is still light, like it was still very much a fun experience. As far as like deck builder race, I'd probably move Quest for El Dorado. As far as like race, I'd probably go Whale Riders. So like it doesn't have a great fit for me. And like you said, at the 2 to 4 player count, it's light enough that you almost want to play it with more.
Yeah.
But you can't.
For sure.
So I'm with you. I would get rid of it as well. But it's certainly like a good game.
Yeah. Well, that's it for this month. If there's a game that is on our list that you heard about and you were interested in, let us know. Yeah. And if there's ones that you've played and you want to give us your thoughts, we'd love to hear them. Either tell us in the comments or join our Discord.
That's right.
And yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know how good our next week is gonna be, like posting wise. Hopefully it's normal, but yeah. Do you want to tell them what we're doing? Like,
yeah, we're going to a cabin.
Yeah.
In an undisclosed location.
In the woods.
In the woods.
You like the movie?
Yeah. I was trying. Hush. That's the movie that we watched with Jeff and Jamie about the girl at the cabin who's deaf and someone attacks her. You seen that?
No.
It's a good movie.
I was talking about the movie called Cabin in the Woods.
And we're gonna be playing board games.
Yeah, with Jeff and Jamie from Frosty.
Oh yeah, I guess I should say who. I mentioned watching that movie with them. Whatever.
Yeah, I've never met them in person, and they're like two of my best friends.
Yeah,
I've never seen them. They could be catfish for all I know.
They're not. I've met them.
They just hire those two people that are on their channel. And,
that's true.
Yeah,
that part's true.
Really?
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have a good time. So hopefully we'll still have some videos being put up next week for you. But we'll see what happens. If not, we'll have a 1 week hiatus. But I think we'll at least have one video.
If anything, we might not be as easy to contact or get a hold of. Yeah. But. Yeah, we're gonna be having
join the Discord. We'll post pictures. We'll talk about.
Oh yeah, for sure. We'll probably do a video of it, recap.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyway,
we'll see you next month. I mean, we'll see you next week. But for the recap, we'll see you.
We're gonna be at the cabin for a whole month.
I wish, dude.
Oh, that'd be
get me out of here.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I hate this
vacation for
life.
a whole month.
Not really.
Oh, don't see that.
I don't. I did. Bye.
It's okay.
Have a beautiful time.
That was a good video.
That was fun.
How long is this edit gonna be?
Over an hour.
Oh, God.